Let me tell you a story about a young man whose life was spent helping others and giving back to the community. Nicholas Morgan Aitchison was born June 26, 1990, to Joe and Pat Aitchison in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Nick played a wide range of sports growing up, anything from football, baseball, track, and was even ranked nationally in AAU titles for Olympic sparring and forms. But Nick's favorite sport was lacrosse. Nick was a typical teenager. His dad said he could be stubborn and sometimes a know-it-all who challenged authority. But Nick was also a kind heart and always took time for others.
Again, he was a teenager and did great stuff, and he did some not so great stuff. He got in trouble, grounded, a little sparking and barking about grades. Nothing unusual or nothing that was different than what any normal family would experience. I think the uniqueness is how he shared himself and how he interacted with many other people and his true caring.
Nick liked to spend his time volunteering at the local YMCA, helping teach kids from kindergarten through 8th grade to play lacrosse. But then tragedy struck on June 12th in 2007.
When Nick passed unexpectedly in a car accident, it was a single vehicle accident, and fortunately no one else was hurt or injured, but and where he lost his life. Pat and I, my wife, of course, were totally devastated, and there's no words or any definition of how a parent feels in that situation. And so from that point, what we wanted to do is, of course, recognize and carry forward Nick in our hearts and maintain that closeness with him, and we do that every morning and every night.
From the tragedy of losing their son, however, Joe and Pat created the Nick Aitchison Lacrosse Foundation, with a mission to support youth and teens having a desire to play but in the need of financial support. In doing so, the Aitchisons played it forward in honor of their son.
So what we wanted to do is recognize Nick's play it forward, and we established a foundation to provide finance for, at that time, the high school was just launching their program, to bring in donations and put forth a play it forward effort to sponsor as much as we can the success of this lacrosse community. But most important is to sponsor the kids at the middle school level and also at the high school level that didn't necessarily have the funding to participate in any sport. Whether it was lacrosse or football, middle school level, or soccer, you had to pay money. And since 2007 through 2016 actually, we funded over 70 kids to play the game of lacrosse that otherwise would not have had an opportunity to do that. We paid their fees, paid for some of them to purchase their equipment.
One of those kids is Jonathan Parker, a junior at Porter Central High School. John too grew up playing multiple sports, but after talking to a friend about lacrosse, he wanted to try it. And when he tried it, he learned he enjoyed it.
I was hanging out with this guy named John Little, and he was in my intro to business class last year, and so Coach Chambers was the lacrosse coach for varsity, so I learned about that, and John's like, hey, you want to come to this game and watch it with me? I was like, sure, because he was injured, he tore his ACL, and so we would just shoot around, play around. I was just like, this is fun, picking up a stick, first time. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good. I'm lefty, and everybody's a righty, so it's pretty fun. They're like, we need a lefty for the senior team next year, so I was like, all right, we'll do it. So Coach Chambers, he's seen me play around with the stick. He's like, JP, you're doing pretty good. I've been watching you play around with the stick and stuff and twirling it and shooting. He's like, you got some pretty good hand skills that just coming off the bat, so he's like, I'm excited to see what you can do this year.
Yet with John wanting to play lacrosse, his parents, especially his mom, knew that the game was an expensive one.
It's very expensive. I did not realize that. I actually went and watched a few of the practices and watched a few of the games before John was actually involved in it. And we knew some of the parents because they were in football, doing the football, and so they were starting to tell me how expensive it was and the cost of doing that. And for us, that was just, it was cost prohibitive for us, and it just wasn't even going to be an option.
But then a friend of Julie's told her about the Nick Aitchison Lacrosse Foundation. The foundation helped Jonathan and his family pay for his lacrosse fees. Being able to see Jonathan play and being able to give him this opportunity, his mom says is an amazing feeling.
Amazing, wonderful, terrific to be able to see him have an opportunity like this that wouldn't have been available before.
One young man's life was cut short, but his story lives on. The kind-hearted young man who brought joy into everyone he met is still being told. Almost 10 years later, he's still helping people. That is the story of Nick.